Well, tiny houses, one of the plans to help the homeless in the city, is making some progress. Our Brian Burns checked on the status of the program made possible by donations from a competition held in the city this spring.
These tiny houses have been sitting here since April when the Skills USA competition ended. Skills USA organizers agreed to donate the partially constructed 14 tiny houses to the city to help house the homeless who qualify.
They're very small. They're not exactly what we want for forever, but they're a big step for us to have some tiny homes, and then of course we're going to need some land to put them on.
Father Bruce Wilson is on the city's Homeless Advisory Committee. He says the committee has been working hard on finding donations of materials and land and may be close to getting those contributions.
To complete the homes, we need volunteers, and that means volunteers who can be supervisors, people with some contracting experience.
The idea behind tiny houses is based on successful neighborhoods made up of such structures in cities across the country. Those villages, like this one in California, offers the homes for sale or rent. In this case, community showers, kitchen, and living areas would be available in Corpus Christi. Paulette Kluge, who heads the city's Convention and Visitors Bureau, who also helped arrange the donation, says there are other needs before the homes will be ready.
A bed and some furniture and shelving, and some of those things still need to be finalized as far as a plan.
No taxpayer dollars will be used for the program. The tiny houses are for homeless people and families who are ready to deal with having their own place. These 8-foot by 8-foot tiny houses could be just the beginning of a village for the homeless in Corpus Christi. Brian Burns, 3 News.